Okay, let's see if this works, because yesterday when I tried to do this, the little gimbal thing here just decided to cut out on me. It had no power, so that was obviously something that couldn't be avoided. Could have if I actually charged it, but I didn't because I just bought it. But then I did notice as I was shooting in the afternoon that the motion thing just decided to fail me. So that was kind of frustrating as well, because I was in the middle of recording videos and all of a sudden the thing just flopped and went dead. So we're going to run this again and see if we can get a better outcome. So here we are again, back out in the open. Beautiful day on my lunch break. I thought this is a great way to utilize my lunch break and go for a bit of a walk down by the local park again and just have a chat with you guys, just be real, talk about a client situation that I had yesterday. So I had a meeting with them yesterday. It was a long-term client. So this particular client, when we first met, was all about retirement planning, getting them ready for that particular day. So the strategies that we were looking at that point in time were primarily around his superannuation. What we wanted to do is work out how we could better utilize his superannuation, take a transition to retirement pension style approach to it, where we rolled effectively most of his funds into a transition to retirement pension, with a view that we would draw a tax-free income from it. Now that allowed us to salary sacrifice back into his super, and because of the tax advantages of doing that, it amplifies his retirement benefit. So we did that for a number of years, doing the pension refresh. Finally got to the point where he retired, we did all the modelling, he was really comfortable. He made the decision at that point in time to retire. So the meeting that we had yesterday was a continuation of the next phase. So the phase that he's in now is retirement, and it's less about things like salary sacrifice. It's more about managing income streams. So he's of the age that he's applied for the age pension entitlement. What we wanted to do at that particular time when he did apply for it, just backtracking a little bit, he wasn't going to be eligible for it just because of the asset test. So what we did identify is that if we sheltered some money in his partner's super account, which she didn't have at that point in time, she just had a bank account, that would allow us to get an age pension entitlement uplift, because there's two places that you can shelter assets. I mean, one is the family home, which a lot of people do know about, and the other one is in an superannuation accumulation account in the name of someone who is under the age of 67. So I guess just through fortune in this particular case, he was a little bit older than what she was. So when he was 67, I think at the point in time she was about 60, 61. So that age disparity gave us that opportunity. So we withdrew the money from his super account, and then we recontributed back into a newly created accumulation account in her name. Now at that point, that then, because of the sheltering, provided him an age pension benefit entitlement of around $13,000. So this year, what we were doing is we were basically reviewing that, and they do still have money sitting in the bank account. So that money that's sitting in the bank account, we needed to look at their cash flow. We identified that the two income streams that they were getting, one through the age pension and the other one through the account-based pension, was probably catering for around about 60% of their annual income need. So they were a little bit short in terms of the deficit. So the conversation that we were having was, do we draw money from their bank account, or do we just effectively utilize money that's sitting in the bank account, because there was still a good $100,000 sitting there, or do we increase the pension drawdown? So through the conversations that we were having, we kind of identified that the return that they were getting in the bank account was less than the return that they were getting in the superannuation account and the pension account. Therefore, it made sense to, rather than draw more money from his pension with that opportunity cost of having less longevity to their net worth, was that we would just draw money from the bank account. So that was kind of one aspect of the meeting, beyond what we would normally talk about, which is the investments themselves, just to make sure that they're still aligned to their profile in terms of what their expectations for returns versus risk might be. I'm going to turn around because I feel like I've walked enough, and I actually don't even know what the sound's going to be like with freeway here. So we're talking about the income that they need. We were talking about the investments. So each year we'll talk about that. Like, that's just a given. That's when we're talking about superannuation, pensions, we're always having that conversation around the client's expectations for returns, their need for income, and what is their appetite for risk. So meaning if the market was to have a correction of 10-20%, how is that going to impact their portfolio? How are they thinking psychologically about it? So we need to make sure that that's always in alignment with the client's views. We did need to make a slight change to the portfolios. We needed to rebalance some of those assets. The main ones, I guess, were for him, just because we needed to ensure that there was enough money sitting in the working cash account for pension payments. Typically the gold standard is we try to keep about 2 years of funding available in the working cash account for pension payments, taking into consideration that there is still income derived from those investments over the course of those 2 years. So, and yeah, you have fees and all the other things that come out of all the admin side, the ongoing costs. So all of these things are taken into consideration. You end up getting an amount that you need in the cash account. That's what we were talking about. And then finally, I guess for his partner, the contribution that we did make into her super, we did that under what we call a 3-year bring forward rule, where each year there is a non-concessional limit that you can utilize, but then you can also bring forward 2 financial years in the future. So in one particular year you can combine 3 years. And so what we did is, at that point in time, the limit was 110, so we did 330. We actually did 110 before the financial year, and we did 330 in July of the next financial year, which gave us 440. Come July this year, that 3-year bring forward rule, that will reset, which means we've then got the opportunity to contribute more money, which again, we identified that the money sitting in the bank account could be better utilized if we were to contribute that in July into her super, because not only just for returns aspect, but again, the sheltering from the age pension asset test. So that's another 100,000. And when I ran the calculation, by putting that 100,000 into her super, it basically gave them another $2,500 tax-free from the government. So that makes a lot of sense, right? I guess at the end of the day, we all work throughout our lives, we all pay taxes, we all contribute to our society and our community through the taxes that we pay. And if there's a benefit that can be received at some point in time back to us, then I think we're all entitled to that. So this is one of these situations where there are opportunities, and I guess without prior knowledge, sometimes people don't understand this, and I guess that's the role that I have as an advisor when I'm sitting down with clients, is to just bring these things to the forefront. And in this particular case, this is something we've been talking about. So I'm heading back to the car now, and I kind of feel like I've said what I needed to say. If I continue talking, I'm probably going to be waffling, but this is me that I'm going to be doing every day. I'm just going to be just talking openly about client situations, and hopefully through doing this, one, I get better at talking, because I understand I'm probably waffling and I don't know, just probably not really that engaging right now, but over time I'll get better at it. And number two, if it adds value, for other people who are watching. You know, I appreciate that none of this is personal financial advice for you guys that are watching right now, all three of you. But it might just trigger something in your mind that you haven't yet thought about, right? Because often, I guess, what I hear is people don't necessarily have the knowledge that I have, and for me, because I do it every day, it seems quite natural and it seems quite obvious, but the reality is a lot of the stuff I say may not be already known to you. So again, if I'm saying this stuff and it triggers something in your mind, great, then it's been a successful video. And if you do ever want to have a chat, I've left my details in my bio, so you've got my work address there, so you can always reach out to me through work. And I'm going to leave it at that. So that's today, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. See you later.